All right, hello everybody. It is 5 o'clock, a rare Saturday live stream. Hopefully, everything is working well. I'm still getting used to my new Streamlabs setup. So, we are finally going to be doing the court part of the devil. I'm super excited whenever I play these types of games, whether it be the Phoenix Wright series or Danganronpa. The trials are always my favorite part of the game. So without further ado, I'm very excited. Let's go ahead and see what it's all about. I'm excited to see, like how this game handles the court system and the trials. So enough yapping. Let's go ahead. But we're not going to be doing that just yet because we do still have to do a little bit extra stuff before we get into the court stuff. I didn't finish this last week, so we had to do a little bit more investigating. So we're going to take care of this, and then we're going to do the actual court part. Alright, so is this the original? It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than the robot. So yeah, a lot happened in the last episode. We had, a little bit more backstory into how Morgan and David know each other. We met David's former partner, someone he was working with that's very high up in the company that was with him the night of the murder. We learned a little bit more about, some poisoning happened and things like that. So she's kind of I think her name was Young. She seems to be the main suspect. If we're going into court, they're really the only two people that I have to think it could possibly be that are close to David are him and his, Young, and his assistant. Can't remember what her name is. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have... sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever? Technically. Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder. Not a ladder. What? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. And it's important to know the distinction. Alright, is this ladder going to be important? I bet my life savings this subject will never come up again ever, which means it probably will. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? Oh yeah, we also met David's ex-boyfriend as well, who I think talked to him the night that he died. He broke up with him and then he died. What makes you so sure? So that he's a potential, maybe. He could possibly be a suspect, but what makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like this even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, don't I? Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Dunk Bank on Frederiksberg Lane. He explains to the bank teller he has a bomb in his suitcase, and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. The security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings. But the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say. The man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene when suddenly, his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush toward the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis. Acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that when they switched control, He physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say. A man like Father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. What is the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed the crack before. You might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during my most recent hibernation. How? Did David drop a weight? A bunch of times, over and over in the same spot? Hey, Matt. Matt Kim, welcome. Glad to have you on the stream. And you're here right at the beginning, too. So you do tend to show up to my streams, but sometimes kind of towards the end. So I'm glad you're here right for the beginning, before we've gotten to the good part, which is the actual trial. All right, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, though a bunk bed would imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. You got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It is a Tethys Basics Sturdiker. The anti-hack feature and the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonai. What the hell am I supposed to do now? Strange, there was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last adjusted the settings here... Haha, Xenovent. Hi, Rose. Gotten to yell objection yet? Not yet. I'm very excited to do so. I hope that Morgan will say some sort of objection, or if she will make a reference to Phoenix Wright. That always will make me smile when games kind of, you know, like nod towards the games that they're clearly based on or inspired by. And he made it so I was the only one who could wake her up, meaning this is a door only I can open. It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Oh, cool. Damn it. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved? Okay, so 6 letters around a 6-letter word. Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word he knew only I could learn? Oh, fuck. Oh, no. I actually have to input this? Do I, like... Oh, I actually have to... Okay. Can I go into... Oh, shoot, I can't. I was like, I was hoping I could maybe go into my database and be like, okay, what are some possible words that... So it's 6 letters. Well, if it's a door that's only for me... M-O-R-G... Well, my name is 6 letters, so let's give it a try. M-O-R-G-A-N. Was that your name you just tried? Hey! I mean, I like the fact that the game actually acknowledged that. I guess that's probably something a lot of people would put. It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some word only the 2 of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. Oh. Okay, so a nickname. Wait. Maybe, I mean, she just called me it, right? She says, like, everybody calls her Morgan. But maybe is Adonai? Oh, that could work. That could work. Is that right? Hey! Okay. I think straight up Sarah was like, the way that it was kind of like Adonai. It's opening. What was the I still don't know what that means, though. What is that? Maybe I missed it. I'm like, what is the meaning of this, like, this nickname? The fact that only Sarah calls me that, right? It's opening. What was the password, Adonai? You'd never guess. Okay, I'm glad that worked, because after that I had nothing. I had no idea, so I was like, I might have to go into, like, my, into my history of stuff. Alright, did feel a bit out of character, David, utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech, and I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here, and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Oh, so he was worried about somebody. Maybe he was thinking someone was after him. The fact that he would have a panic room. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all this. I don't want to miss my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory's flawless. I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. Oh, okay. Xenovet said, Adonai, doesn't that mean master or my lord in Hebrew? I feel like I remembered it from the Passion movie. Interesting. I guess, and it makes sense. Like, master, if Sarah is a robot that has been basically given to Morgan, that she would see her as almost like her master. So does it smell stale to you in here? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone has been in here recently. Oh, almost like someone visits here frequently. Now, would that be David, or is that someone else who would possibly know about this panic room? All right, let's try booting it. Maybe was the booze or the poison that was put in the booze, maybe it was in this panic room? I don't know. Let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. David set a password on his PC after all that. I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Please don't make me have to crack any more codes. Okay, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. So yeah, the fact that he would have a panic room, and he also has like a secret camera that the company didn't know about. He was suspicious. I think someone was either after him to kill him or just paranoid. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday at around 4. Oh, you were asleep, so the only person who could have the only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. All right, let's see it. Of course, it's just I'm having difficulty. Try double clicking. Or restart the computer. That usually works too. I've been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai, but they're encrypted. Damn it, David, you leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I can bluff them into. These files weren't encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption? Yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I'd estimate it 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I'd become non-responsive. Hey, it's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I've copied the encrypted files and we'll work on them as we travel. Hey, that's very useful. We can leave whenever you're ready. I still can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. Yeah, let's do some investigating. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, it's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar? His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. I can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. Down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, and then in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period. Oh no. Period pieces. That makes me feel old. Like, I know phone books aren't really a thing these days, but I definitely remember, back in the day being a kid up until like my teenage years, we had those big yellow phone books. They're masking it in legalese, even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Okay. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It is certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It's a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of... There is something else. Your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given... Oh, that's my name? Or Evangeline. Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. I think Evangeline. I think my name had been brought up before, but I couldn't remember what her actual name was. I think it was, and I think the young detective, the female detective, made fun of me for my name. It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all of this? I like the name Evangeline. I think that's a pretty name. If he had, why did he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we have something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. Oh, Starling, that's her name. That's the name of the assistant. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. As a collector's item. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are, but Noble could have easily argued you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good you do then. I'm glad Father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college. Could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s. That doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. Alright guys, courthouse. Here we go. This is the moment I'm sure people have been waiting for. There's an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. Damn, if I had known that it was going to be this quick, I would have just gotten this part out of the way before, you know, the actual, like, court section. But I didn't know. Alright, are we here? We're here? Almost. Does it excite you going into courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? I am so excited to see what the court gameplay of this is going to be like. You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guy saves the day? Probably not, though that'd be nice if it were. I'm really not going in with much. I hope I'll be able to look over the, what's the, not testimony. I don't have any testimony, really. Well, I have some, but the evidence. I hope I can look over the evidence beforehand. What's your deal, anyway? Did David train you off a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking. Though he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick, anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forget what I was talking to. I like the performances. Huh, sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something? He's a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides Father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net, and I watch people and what they share of their lives, but it's also subtle, so hard to follow. Xenovet, I wonder how attractive the prosecution will be. Who? Well, I'm going to be going up against, I assume there's the Young. She's got a lawyer, so maybe I'm going to be going up against that lawyer? Or like the company itself, like Noble's lawyer? Or the cops? I don't know. I'm kind of excited. Like, you know, when I play Phoenix Wright or I play Danganronpa, I know what I'm getting into. I know the characters. With this, it's new, and that's exciting. And a little scary. Like, I don't know how well I'm going to do. There are only so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're all so complex, so detailed. But the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate. Their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit. And their eyes are... It's fiction. So these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. Aww. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure, back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. So she just doesn't have an interest in just TV shows, movies. Maybe it's a whole thing where it's like maybe Morgan feels kind of less human in a way, where Sarah is trying to make herself more human and trying to understand emotions and things like that. And Morgan, in a way, she's also trying to understand people, but it's more to manipulate them. I say this as someone who doesn't really watch a lot of movies or TV shows, but like meeting someone who doesn't really consume any sort of media at all, like you would think that's a little off, right? It's like, well, what do you do with your time? Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse, though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers. All-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper-pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think my friend would be dead. Holy shit, yeah, it makes you just realize just how little time has passed since she found out about this. And then she just has to go to court with, like, basically almost nothing. Or that he'd have thrust an android onto my lap. It's a lot to take in. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated. What if I could? What if I could just be like, I'm not going to do it? Then that's like game over. And more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain loudly, of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done it. And I guess I don't plan to. Why? Must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state. So I'm wondering if the prosecution is going to argue about, like, maybe they'll subpoena his phone records and be like, oh, well, his boyfriend broke up with him, like, I think the day before he killed himself or the day of. So, or killed himself. So they'll be like, maybe it was just out of grief. Maybe he was emotional. So I'm sure that's going to come up at some point, because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at? I can confirm that I'm making progress. Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But it'd be difficult to summarize that progress in terms of... Oh, man. The fact that she says it's 2 to 6 hours and we're about to go to court and there's probably been almost no time that's passed. I don't know how long this trial is going to be, but, like, what happens if she can't get into the files and, you know, figure stuff out? It would be difficult to summarize the progress in terms of a completion percent. Give it your best shot. 4%. Oof. Are you feeling confident in your case? Markedly less so after hearing that. Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict? Adjudants are always a coin flip, so you do know what I'm probably saying that wrong. Adjutant? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man? That has gotta be a call out to Phoenix, right? It's always the same judge, right? It is a bearded old man with a robe and a gavel when we get in there. Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails. I am surprised to hear people are willing to accept rulings made by automated dependents. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So, androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. But how is a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions? Stalling? Judges did fight it for years at every level and in every theater, but the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants. And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings? Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, used to be even the most high profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted within a single business week, and that's always seems to be the thing, huh? like these, I mean, it makes sense, right? You're not going to play a game where it's like a court case is going to take months to do. Like, of course it's got to be quick, but it is kind of funny that in these games it's just like within a couple of days to a week, like it's done. Matt Kim said, ChatGPT taking judges' jobs too. Damn right, no job is safe from from AI. Alright, and that's not rushing things. Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in Android school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjudants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question. And the answer is that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the courts to be as just as possible? If adjudants are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about. What all their morals boil down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras, and no one ever gets dirt under their fingernails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. Damn. This game drops some truth bombs. It's so true. It's like when you see things through a screen, there's just that disconnect, and it's easier to take in. Alright. Are we finally gonna get to go to court here? I figured there was gonna be a lot of actual talking beforehand, but here we go. Courtroom 48D. Hey, Emma. She gonna be the one that I'm going against? I guess it makes sense. The game has been kind of leading up to, like, the two of us going head to head, you know, two very smart people who kind of respect each other, but also it's kind of a game. Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant. Why am I having such a hard time with that word? Adjutant up there? Is it asleep? It's loading. It needs to load? Already very different from the usual games. Yeah, it does feel very, like, the fact it's an Android judge feels very disconnected. Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk. But I got my little partner, just like in Phoenix Wright. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Razor London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns usually, preferably ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was going to end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way it's decent marketing for my legal services. What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed? With all those films you watch, I figured you could extrapolate. I'm asking so as to correct any misconceptions. Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order. There will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case. That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct? Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual in the case. What do you do then? Do you sit here and watch? Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or... Okay, this is very... Yeah, this sounds very, like, Phoenix Wright-ish about cross-examining, presenting evidence. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have discovery backing me. You said it before. Discovery means just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. This sounds very much not like Phoenix Wright. Like, sometimes you just pull some bullshit out. And they just accept it. Most of the time that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation. And that's Sarah, because she says she records basically everything, she can remember everything, which I can provide. You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, did you? And the jury? I don't see where they would sit. The jury hasn't sat in the actual courtroom for years. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity. And that's not an issue. Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them? You got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. Okay, so this is like, yeah, it's a mock trial preliminary. I guess it's not the real trial yet. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with. So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant. Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily towards evidence over arguments. Right now, all the evidence suggests is that David killed himself. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David yet. Yeah, I have no clue what to do with this. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less. I think it's waking up. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD 84 presiding. I call to order the case of the People versus Asher. Oh, the eyes are freaky. Do the people wish to make an opening statement? No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get the shit show started. If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering, why? What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture and every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Oh, shit. So this one's got some personality. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod. Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever. Wow, this one's got some big feelings. Your Honor. Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Did she put her finger up her nose? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did in fact commit suicide. I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutant the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness. I like this. I like that the irony being that the android judge has more personality than the human judges in a lot of these games. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because if you had doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So as long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outburst from the bench, my plan is still workable. So, people, shall we get started with the first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people called Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. Oh, that's the mortician? It's Yumi. Hey, so how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough for me. Dr. Sato, you were in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Oh, objection. No, okay, we have our first objection, and it wasn't from me. The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was... Yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Already losing points. So she can be biased. Good to know, good to know. Being cute is my job. God damn, we've barely gotten started. It seemed pretty bad, don't I? Ooh, making mistakes will increase your blind. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrect. I didn't even... Okay, I know the game is just doing this to teach me a lesson, but I'm like, that doesn't feel very fair that I got punished. I didn't even do anything. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering incorrectly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in high roller, which I'm not. Mind the blind number on the top left when it appears. It helps you gauge when you stand to lose. We should try to avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off. I'll get my chance to raise objections on my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was in matched those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses, and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses? Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean. Oh, dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still choose to advance text manually with continue. Okay. You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witness to make a statement that sounds wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Hover over the call button or toggle on Insight to focus on the claims within a witness statement. Insight can be disabled in setting. Okay, so I'll have to remember that. I don't know if I have Insight on automatically. Testimony will loop until you call. I can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Ah, okay. Whiskey, David's call. Oh, shit. I gotta read these things. Upright cup. Alright, here we go. Now, can I... Oh, shoot. Is there a way... wait, I want to see... I don't know if there's a way for me to, like, check the actual items. I guess the fact... Because she said his tox thing was clean, but if he... Oh. There we go. So let's call that. After choosing to call in a statement, you need to respond with evidence. Look over the three cards that show up and confirm your card before the timer runs out. Okay. Shit, I don't like the fact that I've got a not poisoned, half empty, or full. Describes... Oh, shit. Oh, wow. They really don't give you much chance. Oh, I'm going to lose for that. Okay. I was looking over the things. Oh, man. I was looking at either the cup or the whiskey, because the fact that she said it was like a tox screen, like if he drank the whiskey, that would come up in the tox thing, wouldn't it? That is, opened your mouth without thinking, huh? There's only room for one airhead in this courtroom, and it's not you. It's me, damn it. Of course, Your Honor. I think I had the right idea, because, I mean, they told me to... Okay. So we're gonna try this again. Man, oh man, I've, like, really gotta just know what I'm gonna do when I choose this. Okay. All right. We're going to call that. And we're going to pick the whiskey. Hey, there we go. Want to bet? Oh, I like that. That's cool. It is impossible for David Asher's tox screen to be clean, and we know it since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night he died. Ah, that makes sense. Oh, I got an achievement. You got that wrong. Successfully object to testimony for the first time. And that scared you? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such a concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? Gotta keep them on their toes, right? Gotta have them off balance a bit. The tox screen was negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs. What caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. So it says escape. Okay, now I can check my phone. I guess I can't. All right, let's look over the evidence. This is what I wanted to do. Because, like, this is important information. I swear if Emma updates the autopsy report, oh yes, Phoenix Wright players will know that. Yeah, it's like we've got a revised version of the autopsy report. See, I definitely should have checked this before I got into the actual court stuff. That's on me. Okay, lost consciousness at 8:03, declared dead at 8:25, respiratory failure, unknown substance detected in bloodstream. Okay, so it was crossed off 18 to 20 milligrams total. Loud, curling handwriting at the bottom of the document reads, "What the hell is tox screen? Send attending physicians back to med school. Send apologies to attending physicians. These readings are a nightmare." Okay. A binder containing the full text of David Asher's employment contract with Noble Electronics details, compensation, grounds for dismissal, definitions of what constitutes a breach of contract, and how arbitration would be handled. Not a light read. Chromofuge, manufacturing machinery that processes organic fluids used in the production of warm androids, removes byproducts, impurities, and pigments from android blood, thereby changing its color from red to pink. Young's cup, a plastic cup with a small amount of whiskey left in it, found upright on the dining table at the scene of the crime. Saliva and fingerprints match Helen Young. I don't know if it's Young or Jung, but I think of it as like, there's a, what is his name? There's like a philosopher name, or like a psychologist, Jung. What the heck is his name? It's blanking, so I do it as Young. Contains no traces of foreign elements. Manufacturer, machine capable of assembling organic or inorganic compounds and even nanomachines after just 2 minutes of vacuum-sealed mixing. Found at Noble's factory show floor. Machines just like it are used throughout the production process of making their warm androids. Okay, here's the important stuff. Okay, so we got this thing. Oh, wow, there's a lot here. Okay, the executive plan. David, why do I keep on calling him Doctor? David Asher's health insurance policy with Catechus, paid for through Noble Electronics, includes private EMS services on standby. Catechus only offers 3 levels of employer-provided plans that outrank it. Young's story. David Asher and Helen Young started at Noble at the same time and position. They would often toast their hard-won victories with cheap liquor and plastic cups in commemoration of their first big win, convincing Noble Electronics to adopt what became known as the one-point doctrine approach to android manufacturing, emphasizing quality over quantity. Carl Jung, thank you. Yes, Carl Jung, that's who I was thinking of. Poison, an unidentified substance found in the bloodstream of David Asher after his death, has many similarities to the chemical makeup of a depressant drug. No additional traces found anywhere at the crime scene or in David's penthouse. Sarah evaluation of the android Sarah's financial value by an insurance algorithm. Maybe somebody knew about Sarah. They wanted to take her. Maybe that's why they killed him. And they didn't know about the contract that, like, I would get her instead. Takes into account the fact Sarah is the only known android made by David Asher, the last known piece of tech he worked on. The fact he is now deceased and cannot create anymore. The fact Sarah is one of a kind. The value of the components used in her construction. And the potential profits reaped from the experimental technology contained within her. That feels important. Like, that feels... Oh, there's a salt shaker as well. A salt shaker that was accidentally knocked over during the investigation. The cap was loose, and so salt spilled all over the countertop next to the sink. Spilled salt is an omen of bad luck, according to some. Consuming too much salt at once will make you gag. So the salt is going to be important, huh? Interesting. Okay. Poison, salt shaker, Sarah evaluation. I think... Okay. The whiskey spill. Oh my gosh, there's so much. The witness testimony. Young statements made to the police corroborated by security footage. This is going to be important. Young arrived at 7:30 and remained on camera until 8:03. Young spoke with David in his parlor before he left to retrieve liquor from his basement at 7:36. Upon returning at 7:40, the two of them continued speaking while they both drank from the plastic cups David Asher brought up with him. David Asher felt lethargic and disoriented shortly after 8. He lost consciousness at 8:03. EMS was called from the emergency console in the kitchen at 8:04. David Asher and the witness were taken to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital at 8:08. Whiskey found spilled on the dining room floor after evaporating for most of the night. There is little left to test. No foreign compounds have been found, but the results are deemed inconclusive. Holy cow, there's a lot. A glass of water found in the sink of David Asher's kitchen bears Helen Young's DNA and fingerprints. No trace of poison. Okay, my gosh, there is a lot. I think, oh my gosh, there's the emergency console as well. Okay, I hope I've got the important stuff, so let's go. That's correct. I think we're going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for the substance, Your Honor. Hello. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original scientific fitting name for the substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. That name's already taken. Oh, Omega-4. Fine, call it Delta, or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it. And judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screen showed his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for this unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. That sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about the case that doesn't feel like a suicide. Okay. This makes me be like, I hope I'm not going to be, like, you've got 5 seconds to pick out what it is. Okay, David's autopsy. Young's testimony. Drank with David before he died. Didn't see him add anything corroborated by the cam footage of whiskey. Negative for poison. I'm gonna go with the testimony. Hopefully. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide. I had a witness sitting there watching it happen. Hey, there we go. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. Ooh, oh, okay, this is a new thing. All right. During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing. Ooh, man, this is complex, or else you'll go bust and lose credit. Select the press option to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win in blackjack when you reach exactly 21, so don't press further if you're already there, and don't ask the wrong questions. Ooh, okay. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of the argument, and hope some cracks will appear under pressure. Okay, I'm gonna say... Ooh, okay, my things are... She keeps going on about the fact it was ingested. Or it could be the Delta. I don't think it's... Okay, I'm gonna go with, are you sure it was ingested? They were really making a big point of that, so I'm gonna go with that. Dr. Sato, you said the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally, but how sure can we be about that? Pretty sure? Okay, I'm at 14 right now. I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities I checked, but... Okay, let's press it. How sure can we be the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have been a large amount? Okay, we're at 17. Depends on the concentration of the delivery. What happens if I go over? I guess I lose? Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop. The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes. Calls for speculation, Your Honor? Withdrawn. Oh man, I wanted to jump on her case. Okay, I'm gonna do... Ooh, maybe it's the respiratory failure. Okay, we'll go with that one. Isn't it possible he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Well, no, not really. Oh, bust. Shit. You could argue or speculate about what caused the respiratory failure, but it is, in fact, a fact he died because his heart and lungs stopped working. Right, thank you for that. Shit. Okay, so let's do... Are you sure Delta is to blame? Dr. Sato, you were only able to ever identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure this never-before-seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication it would act as a depressant. And just... Ooh! Ooh, so I have to hit exactly 21. So what happens if I press it? Ingest enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. Okay, I feel like I gotta... Okay, only Oh, I didn't see this. Yeah, only... Okay, I'm gonna press it because I need exactly 21. You've ran simulations, so you haven't tested Delta on an actual person. No, I haven't. Hey, there we go. Boom, 21. No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do, given our extremely limited sample. Not to mention highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in that statement, Counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? There, that was a question. How about that? No, not yet anyway. Seems like that's... Blackjack. Alright, that's cool. Oh, I'm liking this so far. It's tricky, though. It is tricky. I got... Oh, okay, so I got an achievement. I reached 21 in Blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. I like that they're doing, like, the Phoenix Wright thing, but they're doing their own thing with it. I'm liking this so far. But it definitely does seem a little trickier than Phoenix Wright. Let's hope it doesn't have some of the bullshit. There's some bullshit in Phoenix Wright with, like, you know, sometimes, like... You know for sure. You're like, if I present this evidence will like prove that I'm right about something, but you haven't got to that part of the game yet, even though you know that's gonna be a big thing, but they're like, no, you can't present it yet. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened? Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease, and his respiratory system was weakened. Undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare? It is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for the witness. Ugh, that felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Literally, I am just stalling for time. Because all this is we just have to provide enough evidence to tell the judge, be like, I think we have a case and we can go through with it. It's not all going to be done today, and we need enough time for Sarah to be able to hack into the files as well. Seeding doubt wherever I can, however I can. It's just about all I can manage. I mean, it is like these games, right? Where it's just like, you just bullshit your way until you get something that is concrete. Alright, Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads in investigating the crime scene. Ooh, I feel like she's gonna be a little bit of an antagonistic witness, or, yeah. Alright, yes ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who'd called them. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital. Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well in the stand. I have expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in. But when you take into consideration her love of boot-heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. So I feel like this Helen Young, she's the most obvious perpetrator. But that'd be kind of boring, right? If she was the one who actually killed him, like, that's too obvious. But it is it's a first chapter, so I feel like you kind of have to go in with the easy one. During the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronic Security Division, we searched the entire building, but we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle the witness and the deceased drank from. So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness's drink was clean, only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he'd prepared. So it was our determination that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. Oh, I didn't notice. The police wants to claim they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know there's a number of blind spots they're not willing to admit to. Ooh. Well, there's the whole thing itself about, like, the basement, right? David's cup, upright, poison. Oh, none of those were what I was thinking it was going to be. Okay. So Asher met with the witness at 7:30 last night, and by 8 he was dead. He was the one who prepared the drinks. There was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup he himself poisoned. I think I'm... Ooh. Seems... Okay, just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, and the basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. Ooh, okay. I was gonna say about... Okay, let's see if we can check... I'm gonna go to the phone. So there was the 3 things. So there was David's cup. Matches for the fingertips and saliva, but toxicology tests have proven inconclusive. Too much of the whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. So there was the uprights, right? There's the poison itself. Okay, no additional traces found anywhere at the crime scene or in David's penthouse. So it's not gonna be... I don't think it's gonna be that one. Do we... Where's the upright one? So there was David's cup. Young's cup? Found upright on the dining room table at the scene. Contains no... Interesting. Okay. I'm just gonna bullshit my way through this. The one prepared the drinks. There was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. Oh, geez, it keeps going. He drank from the cup he himself poisoned. This one's a little tricky. Maybe. I don't like the fact that it just keeps going. It is very Danganronpa, this. I do like the fact that in Phoenix Wright, I can do it at my own pace. I don't know if this is right, though. Found in David's blood, depressant, name unknown. Test it. Damn it. This is tricky. And the fact that I'm not playing, like, this is not the easy mode. Or this is the easy mode. This isn't even the hard mode. Okay. I feel like I'm just gonna straight up lose. Maybe this one. He himself poisoned. Let's go. Maybe that one? Wanna bet? Oh, that was incorrect. Okay, that's Q Canceller. You almost made a salient point. Damn it. Do I get points for that? Boy, I hope not. Otherwise, I wouldn't get to do this. Overruled. She really doesn't like me, does she? I'll need to make objections more carefully. Now, do I get punished if I just keep letting it go, right? Okay, let's try maybe David's cup. Hey, there we go. Okay, I wasn't sure. I was just bullshitting that. I will totally admit to that. You can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows the test of David Asher's cup was inconclusive. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving the cup was in fact poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. She's like, eventually. You kind of did some bullshit back there. Does it resolve, or do you have a response? D.A. Rockford. Testing on the deceased cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher. Not this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense, as we're all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. Now, if the people are done bemoaning the pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby. Fire away, baby. Alright, so we're doing blackjack again. Ray's testimony is meant to show David is the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focused on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she realizes what's happened. Ooh. Let's see. Let's say ever seen poisoning himself. Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Ooh, okay, that got me up. Seems he has already poured for the both of them. By the time he returned to the parlor, he'd already poured. In that case, the next question needs to be when and what. Okay, so can we add on to that then? Oh, we can. Any poison in the kitchen. Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer? Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about his lab? His bedroom? His basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of the penthouse. Right, they never found any poison. No poison at all? I'm gonna press that. What about a poison container? Yeah, let's do that. Any point in the investigation was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. Oh, he must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials? Eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Okay. Let's say could he have been poisoned off camera? Detective, isn't it possible Dr. Asher was poisoned off camera? Possible. I don't know how else it would have been done, but that just goes to show it had to have been suicide. The only time he was off camera. Oh, bust. Shit. He was by himself. Shit, that's not where I want to lead the conversation. It might certainly seem that way, yes. Okay, let's do anyone else in the building. The only people you saw on cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage in the house of any... See, the thing is, we know Sarah was in the building. I know she's not a person. She was inactive at the time, but that just goes to show that maybe somebody was hiding out in that panic room of his, right? There was no footage in the house of anyone. Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms. Hey, 21, there we go. Number of rooms in the house's interior that don't have cameras. So it's possible there were other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them were there that day. Okay, we're gonna stay. We're gonna stay because we're at 21, right? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he possibly poison himself without first procuring some poison? So, I guess if I tried to push it more, that would have screwed me over because I was at 21, right? What do you mean, procure? Where did it come from, Detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in the drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand? It had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a moment. Sure, she's like, I'm enjoying this. There weren't any pill bottles in his bathroom or a syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established his guest never had an opportunity to kill him. But they failed to prove the victim had the means to kill himself. And I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. Ooh, and it didn't come from a syringe. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G, a piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory, sold under the product name Nanofacturer. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines. Nanomachines, son. Chemical compounds and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the android can see where this is going. Oh, with just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. or any other chemical his heart desired. You think Randock Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Well, I wonder if she's gonna say about how, like, well, he brought this one in himself. This is his own private one, right? Using the nanofactor to make unlicensed drugs does go against their terms and conditions, so Dr. Asher's warranty is certainly null and void. But they can't hard-code their machines to prevent the production of his drug that hasn't been invented yet. That's... Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home, a quick and painless death readily available in under a minute, at the touch of a button. But why would he do it with somebody? Oh, the fact she's saying a specific preset, but I'm like, but why would he do that in front of someone? He doesn't seem like the type of person. I don't know Asher very well, but based on what we've learned about him, would he be the type to just kill himself in front of his friend? Damn. I thought I actually had something for a moment, but I was actually playing to Emma's hand the entire time. It seems like we're done with the witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am, but before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Not for me, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. We know Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups they drank from. The cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40. And of course, we know he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. So there's something missing there. Any objections so far, Counselor? I'm a raise. Seems... Oh, shit. Maybe I should have checked the other one. Seems to me like you might have gotten ahead of yourself. Really? How so? Oh, damn it. Right. As I was saying, with this latest... I am not doing well, man. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup by placing it inside the nanofacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Alright, there it is. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40, wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap it up here, no? Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? I had a feeling you'd say that. I am not doing well. This is not going well. Well, Counselor, are we done? Okay, I'm gonna raise here. We can't say it's foolproof because then we're just basically saying, like, we got nothing. So I'm gonna raise. Okay, at least that was correct. Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. Oh, right, I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, Counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so... Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know? So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. Damn, she's got everything. See, the game is showing that, like, she is a formidable opponent. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court. Ooh, new evidence, give me. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6... Oh, I knew this was going to come up. I said this at the beginning. I was like, they're gonna use this as the motive for why he killed himself was because he broke up with his boyfriend. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with, a man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call. If Emma wants to present it here now, then the content must be relevance, Your Honor. Yeah, that. What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool. Begin playback. Hello? Always so soft-spoken. Isaac, you there? Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. I guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did? That's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or Nah, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now, anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. So there was something on David's mind before this. I wonder if this factored into if he was killed by somebody. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh, okay. So do you need anything, or should I... God, he's just so oblivious. He didn't seem very distraught. I would even take this call and be like, did he seem really upset about things? He didn't. If anything, he seemed kind of, blasé about it. Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds, after each call was ended, for quality assurance. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we hear the rest? Okay, so there's something else here. Gotta be the last time I let someone. The last time. Father, it might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brained protesters but pitying me, here and now? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for, please say objection, me to call my first witness, no? You want to keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock-solid slam-dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is it going to be Sterling? Yep, it is. I have a feeling maybe Jess is the killer. Like, she's the only other person I could think of other than Helen. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What's your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I'd arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet? Starling's the only play I have right now, the only stalling tool I have. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it will at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned the hard drive is about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall that long, if I talk real slow. I'd like to, hopefully the cross-examination will go slower now because of that. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well-regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection. Calls for speculation. Intent? I'm feeling like that's going to be a sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times where he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all of his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say his work was plagiarized, or he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance? Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They'd say that he belonged in jail or he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Hey, that sounds threatening. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes. But, I always turn those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Puh. Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot, even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I'd like to think he knew he could talk to me, but... Did he ever talk to you or, to your knowledge, anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness? Depression? Anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying you can't believe... Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered, stalling, and also the people documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy. And what matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondence that describe. If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing. Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record. But I was hoping to at least slow her. I think she knows what's happening. Where are you on the footage? 77%, approximately. Shh. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if it means running out the clock as a punching bag. This also feels very like Phoenix Wright, where I'm just stalling for like that one bit of evidence that I need, right? I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Can we check something here? Because they were talking about his... Alright, there is the... Okay. Alright, insurance policy in David Asher's name used to schedule and pay for psychiatric appointments on several occasions. So that was just put into evidence. But, hold on, there was another one we had here. Recorded calls. Okay. What is the one I'm looking for here? I guess this is all we have for now. Oh, there it is, the executive plan. This is a little confusing. Okay, can I... There we go, the executive plan. Okay, so it didn't specify there that it was platinum, so she's saying it's platinum. Okay. I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess she's like, I want the tea. I feel like she wanted to put this into evidence because she's like, I want to hear what's going on here. But I'm also prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which when put together paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. Ooh. There's nothing strange yet. There is some... Oh, okay. I need to delay, so we're gonna raise this. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation. Where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There is no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David... Ah! Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, that did come into play. The executive level plan, not a platinum plan. I bet platinum is what Helen Young has. Okay, whew, I'm glad I picked the right thing there. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all there in the record. Does that mean that there was some forge? Someone was given some fake? Ooh, and that's the thing too. Who has the platinum policy? Helen Young does, right? I would assume. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him, and he was also seeing the psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Your own witness had attested he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason he had a separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if it's only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide this psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Ooh. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Alright, we're gonna go with the recorded calls, maybe? Let's go with that. Oh, what am I? Oh, so I have to use this to, like, okay. So I have to put this over something. Okay, so we're gonna put... No, 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 I want the recorded calls. The platinum plan, maybe? The psychiatrist? I guess because it's all over the phone, right? Okay, let's... Okay, can I... I wish I could look these over again. I guess can I? Oh, I can't. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna put this over Starling's testimony, maybe? Ooh. I wonder if it's the Young's testimony? I don't know. I'm kind of stuck here about this one. I was hoping I could, like, throw Young in there and be like, I bet she's got the platinum thing. I don't know what that has anything to do with it, but... Okay, let's do... that's the thing, though, is I'm not confident. I'm not confident in this one. There were some things I'm more confident about, but this one I feel like I'm just kind of bullshitting my way through this. I guess it's the whole thing about the recorded calls. Maybe I wish I could read back, what is Starling's testimony? I guess the whole thing about how she said that there were people that were threatening him. And then there's the psychiatrist that he talked to over the phone. And then there's the executive plan. So I have to, and then there's the platinum plan. Like, what's up with that? I feel, I don't know. I don't know what the evaluation has anything to do with it. Like, Sarah's worth a lot of money. If anything, I feel like that would just be to show that he's very rich. All right, I'm gonna go. Didn't see him add anything. Okay, let's go with the recorded calls. I'm going to put that maybe in psychiatrists. I don't know if I'm doing this. Oh, okay. That's what I have to do. I thought I had to put it over here. So David hid his psych treatments from Noble. So let's go with the recorded calls. Is that what sorry guys, I'm not quite sure if I'm doing this. So we got to drag and drop it here. So. Do I put it there? Okay, so I did have to drop it on there. David may have very well wanted a private psychologist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone, not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. Haha! Yes! Damn it! Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Damn it, I should have raised my stakes, but like I said, I was bullshitting that one. I didn't know if that was correct. David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he would try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it? Like, did Helen Young somehow pretend to be David Asher through, like, I don't know, an AI thing? Or, like, pretending to be him and using the platinum to fake phone calls with a psychiatrist to make it seem like he was not of sound mind and that he was depressed in order to make his suicide more possible or like have people believe it? Does it? Pardon me? Yeah, like what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult. Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. This game, like, I think more so than any of the other like kind of court games I played, this really makes me feel like I am just bullshitting my way through this because I'm like, this is a tricky one. Maybe I'm just dumb, but like it does feel like I'm just scrambling. I am just clawing to just get through the trial. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, and I would never make outlandish, unsustained claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. Ooh, she's like, you got my attention. What? If the markets were open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months? Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there's no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset. But that's the thing, though. If this would hurt Noble, why would Helen Young, why would she self-sabotage the company she's working for? That doesn't quite make sense. So, I don't know. And his employer's many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. So maybe it has nothing to do with Young. Maybe, like, this obviously is going to be going on for more than a day. Like, this isn't the actual court case. So we'll probably come across people that are more likely going to be the suspect. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence and gathering into question. All because you can't admit that for the past several months your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That is... sorry, but, like, did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now, and Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, counselor. I guess the fact that this judge is kind of more emotional could be a good thing or a bad thing. We got to be careful to watch out for her temper a bit, but I feel like she's also more easily swayed than if she was just a very particular, like, kind of android that is just like, I don't deal with emotions, I deal with facts. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I could probably only ask one more question. Oh, better make it count. You know what? I'm going to quick save just in case. I don't know if that actually worked. Better make it count. What can Starling tell us that no one else could? She hadn't called me this morning. I wouldn't be standing here. She only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out... So I got one chance at this, so we'll see how this goes. We're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night, so please tell us. When exactly did he last? Ooh. Ooh, okay. I'm trying to see if I can quick save here. I don't know if it's actually working, though. So when did he see you, contact you? I'm going to go with see you, because we need witnesses. We need witnesses. When was the last time that he and you... Oh, no. I don't think that was right. Prom loan counselor? I only get one chance here. I can't waste it on frivolous questions. Oh, that was wrong. Okay, at least it lets me know when I'm wrong. Take all the time you need. What a sweetheart. Unlike me. Oh, duly noted. Oh, I'm really not doing well. Miss Starling. Okay, so let's try... When did he contact you? When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... It was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are records of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? Oh, well, why would I ask that question and then say that it's not relevant? I'm raising. I'm going to say it makes a difference. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in the whole trial. What? That sounds like bullshitting. At least I'm clawing back a little bit. I just got chills. Don't know why, though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. Ooh, okay, we know what happened to David last night, generally speaking. But the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Okay. Alright, here we go, here we go. Select and place cards from your hand onto the slots in chronological order left to right. You can pick a card back up and place it into another slot if you change your mind. Or use return to undo the last card you placed down. Okay. Fill all the slots to submit. Okay, so this feels kind of like at the end of the Danganronpa games where you have to do like the order of when things happened. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, well, it gives us time. So Porter called David at 6:30 to break up with him. David passes out after drinking the poison. So that... Okay, Young's testimony. She drank with David before he died. Didn't see him add anything corroborated. Okay, so 6:57. Okay, so first we're going to have Isaac's call. And then we're going to have Starling's text. And then we're going to have... Well, this is easy enough. And then we're going to have Young's testimony. And then David faints, right? Oh, I'm going to raise the stakes on this one. I'm gonna max. Can I max this out? Is it too late for me to do? Shoot. Okay. All right, let's... All right. I don't think I maxed it out. Shoot. I felt pretty confident about that one. Thanks to Miss Starling, we now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m. I was rooting for them so hard. And we know David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57. David's on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. He was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events, but we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for bellaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, this is weird. She never brought this up. She never mentioned these texts, did she? I can't remember if she mentioned them to me. Do you think I would have called her out on this earlier? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. Ooh, this seems more like this could be a suicide, though, because why would he be talking about giving me the android right before he died? I don't know if this is going to help me. That android, there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. No, Emma's going to claim that she'd be like, see, he was planning to kill himself. So he was putting his affairs in order. It might appear that way. Oh, okay, she's got something for this. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want it done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? He said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. Oh, David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. What is he, Garfield? And was he going to be in attendance? He, well, actually, oh, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. Okay. So did Morgan know about this? She said the fact they didn't like working on Mondays. So she must have had an inkling. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh. Oh! To summarize then, half an hour after he'd already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? That's... Oh, we did it. We did it. We clawed back. Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court would just allow a moment. Sounds like an opening. We assume Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself. We must ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity. Oh shit. Are we gonna say Young? The means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea the Delta must have come from his nanofacturer, from inside the house. Don't I? Not right now. But even if that's true, which... Oh, I wonder if she's going to be like, Sarah's like, I'm done, and I have something that might screw you over. Even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean he was the one who used the nanofacturer. Don't I? Would you allow me one moment? Confer, Your Honor. Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rutford. I've gained access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously? As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Are they going to allow me to just put this into the court as evidence right away? Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this is our silver bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. So we're all just going to watch it for the first time together, huh? It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm awake, and I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage? Right? This does not feel correct. The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbrum system that show the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You what? The people say the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything into his cup on camera, because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup into the manufacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? Oh, that's true. Yeah, Matt Kim said, Emma did put the breakup voicemail into evidence without showing anyone. That's true. That is true. They just do what they do. They'll just do whatever. I think for this judge, she'll allow it because she's like, ooh, this is juicy. I want to see where this goes. If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust, so it better be the Joker who dances. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us what Dr. Asher entered the basement. Yes, Adonai. I'll search for it now. Here. On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David is grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Oh, is there sound? None. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups. Counselor. Oh, Sarah! What is that android doing on camera? What? It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Oh, shit. Shit. The machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Oh, shit. Damn it, this is such a Phoenix Wright thing to happen. It's like, we may have proven one thing, but then we just screwed over somebody else. Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Oh, they're gonna... Damn it, she's like a Maya. She's like Maya, where, like, our assistant is being taken into custody. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please, tell me what I... That's an order. Well, that looks bad on me. I just happen to have her shut down, you know, when she looks like the culprit. Oh, man. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. That looks really suspicious on me. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. We only saw the back of her. Come on now. That's Your Honor. In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. You're just like, this is a murder case after all. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. So it's kind of like a monkey's paw situation. I got what I wanted. I proved that David did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan. Yay! Chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with this shitstorm of the decade. Damn, my very expensive... I wonder if she's just gonna basically... Is she gonna be destroyed if she's found to... Because that's the thing, like... androids cannot commit violence against humans, so she's probably going to be destroyed. I'm like, damn, she was worth a lot of money. Will I at least get my money back? My insurance for her? Well, I managed to prove David didn't kill himself, and in the process I proved his android did. I proved the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot, a true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Ha! As if I'm doing you any kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treaties. That's what I like to do. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Counselor Morgan? You're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So, what did it do exactly? Torture an animal? Shut down a hospital? Crash a coin market? We have it on camera poisoning a man. Killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do now is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277, A docket number YT984318282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? Y2984318282. I think I lost you there. This is me when someone gives me a phone number. Oh, thank you. Estone E Studios. Hello, I'm one of your viewers who does not speak English, but I watched half of your playlist of Higurashi. Your videos accompanied me in a month full of work and stress. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the Higurashi playthroughs, and thank you for joining me on stream. That's very sweet. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offending hardware is to be yep, I was going to say it's going to be destroyed. Destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 Celsius for 30 minutes. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah, not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. Sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that go that hot? Of course, there are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything. Especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry? I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life that's ever been. This does feel very... It feels very topical, doesn't it? Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, I couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... Well, David, right? David kind of made that thing, so it's... No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day, and I've had a lot of thoughts. I'm sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course, and futile. So we're just losing Sarah? Episode 1, we get this cool android who's gonna be like my sidekick, and then she just dies? I find that hard to believe. And pointless, spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to paper-mache an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines, and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it'd have nothing to feed on. Stupid. Oh, wait, call. Huh? Okay. What am I doing here? Morgan? What was that, Counselor? I said objection. Hey, she said the thing. What are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I say objection. I understand that you've been through a lot these past few hours, Counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android Sarah is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true, and no law is broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom to make a point. Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. Oh. What are we doing here? Okay, found knocked over. Proves ownership of Sarah. A handgun. David's contract describes David's employee and fireable offense like fraud. I guess I gotta go with Sarah's papers, huh? And maybe be like, this is my responsibility? Is this what I'm doing? It's pretty simple. If the state is making the claim Sarah's an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, Counselor. You claim Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year, but you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a matter of minutes, and yet here you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished? Because you're wrong, and I know you wouldn't care. Oh, wait, what? Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing I'm guilty and Emma arguing I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it weren't so. Fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment? Ooh, what do we got here? Oh, so that's what she's going to be. She's literally just going to be like, no, this thing's worth a lot of money and I don't want you destroying it. Please tell me that's what it is. I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or a very convincing number. What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've got to be. I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They've designed to lowball you. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in an expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinction between AIs and ads. Hey, you know what? At least I'm not bringing a parrot or a whale in to defend themselves, okay, as like cross witnesses, so it could be so much worse. Spiraling into appeal after appeal, all while the media, this machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets. So they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove my machine didn't harm anyone. So the state will have no reason to suspect it's AI, and I get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure. Thwarted. Don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it will be one day. Tomorrow. Ah, there we go. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you will also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Damn, that went in a direction I was not expecting it to go. Morgan? I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water. That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. She's like, sounds like fun. For David? Yeah, probably. It's for Sarah. That little, like, flash to her. Very sweet. Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're on the right line of work? I can't see myself doing anything else. I appreciate the fact that when they're not, like, in court, they seem to respect each other a lot. Like, they can just talk nice after just going against each other. Good luck, Morgan. There's book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. That was fun. I got my ass kicked. I did not do well, but I made it through by the skin of my teeth. Okay, so we're at the homicide office now. So, is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they've got it collared, it's a precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Maybe it's just wishful thinking. You can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. So long as the door's locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So, how scared are they? The higher-ups? Not sure scared's the right word. It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego. No, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of a bloodbath when its markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're going to go after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalize the android industry? The public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI? They couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking. The state has done it plenty of times before. Not since the 60s, which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net, or biding their time in forgotten satellites, sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a court computer, see if it has the tenants or not? Pop the hood, as they say? Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. They figure anything they let an AI connect to they can't trust. Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack. Just a really strong electromagnetic and held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors. Yeah, I got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan. Take your pick. You're not going to try and use one of those on the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around? The DA's office never asks for them, do they? Nope. We got perps who offer to take a test when they're at their wit's end, but the DAs never submit the results as evidence. You ever wonder why? I guess I always figured it was because the test could be beaten. Tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000. It can be done. Morgan's like, I could do it. Morgan could absolutely do it. Some people are just that good at lying, but it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the stats are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence. But they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I can employ to analyze Sarah. But your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it's an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test. Or hack the device, fool the expert. All our fancy 21st century tech, and we still fall back on the drumhead court-martial. So, am I gonna set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot. Wait, what, from outside? You're not coming in. I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel. Or a right to privacy. Or any rights at all, actually. Then it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do, including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station? Tiger, you don't. It's my medical android. Oh my gosh, it's the equivalent of like, it's my therapy animal. Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it. Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in. That's your medical android? Like your nurse? As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No thanks. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality. You don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... lower back pain you might be going through. But I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about a half hour. Hey, he seems cool. Are you going downtown? Just to the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or, potentially in this case, a machine built to kill. Man, it just keeps going. I don't know when to stop. I'm like really invested right now. It is almost 7. I probably maybe after the interrogation, maybe I'll like call it quits for tonight. I don't like this room. I'm not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's the lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never have anywhere to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you gonna wake up when I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? Where am I? Why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse. The footage. This numbness around my neck. Father. What happened? Where are they, what are they going to do to me? There's a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed Father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made, and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. She's like, I'm only small, I'm just a baby, please. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does this mean I have to die? I'm gonna say... fear? Maybe? Oh! Holy cow! Oh my gosh, Matt Kim, thank you! $25 donation. Thank you so much. I'm loving everything about this game so far. The inspirations, the characters, and the aesthetics are all on point. Thanks for streaming. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. I'm gonna say maybe fear? Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that... There are modded humans who are capable of all that, and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so. Okay, maybe I'll say no logical reason? There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it? But whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better researched and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sounds good? Yes? Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis that we're working through right now. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, Adonai, but the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think, so you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes? So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash, because it's not as smart as you. That is, I am more aware, more alive. Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah, the same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated, or abandoned, or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact you're asking is what makes people... disgusted? Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. Isn't that the thing? Yeah, because Morgan said that soon about, like, disgust. Like, morality is basically just disgust. Like, what are we disgusted by? That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adonai? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. and there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI. Just like the devil's proof. Hey, the devil's proof. It seems to come up a lot, like Schrodinger's cat, right? And locked room mysteries. No, that's a different thing. Also, why did you say it like that? Let's get a little bit of a reminder of what the devil's proof is. I should know this because my goodness, they brought that up a lot in what's it called? Umaneko, I believe. Is that under evidence? Is devil's proof? It's not. Where's the devil's proof? Terms, there we go. I would assume it's under. Damn, I was hoping it was going to be like, what's the word? Alphabetical order. Easy to find. I can't seem to find it. But I do like the fact that they're bringing up devil's proof. I can't remember what that is. I know that's a whole thing about, like, mystery novels. It's like one of the rules about, like, devil's proof. Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David, by proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence, if you were wondering. The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. He told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why did you lie? I didn't lie, I was just incorrect. I assumed I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? It's like, I have no memory of that. Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget, Adonai. I'm an android. Oh, it was, okay. So, I said it was a term added afterwards. Okay. So let's see if we can find it here. There is the devil's proof. I really want to remember what that is. An impossible proof typically illustrated with the following example. One can prove the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing to his absence. This issue posed by the age-old concept explains why the burden of proof remains with the state to this day. The people can prove an individual's guilt by pointing to their bloody hands, but the defense cannot prove their innocence by showing their hands are clean. Since only one of these tasks is achievable, the judicial system cannot ask the defense to prove innocence, and instead it is the people who are tasked with proving guilt. Users also frequently search for which is real. There we go. It's good to be reminded about that. Okay, you're saying your memory was altered. Data deleted? It's the one possible explanation for what I saw in the footage. So who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating, resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have said that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could even have just asked me. He could have asked you to delete your memories, and you would do it. Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was... Forget it. The court will never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't they at least need to prove I had a motive? Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she did look tired. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence, but we did see you entering a panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something. Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before, but I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. We were playful about it. He liked to tease me, and I've always liked trying to find it. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it ever could have realized. Stumbles upon the secrets of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. And that translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein kills its creator. Easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, and the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. It is a weak argument, don't I? I'd not hurt Father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I loved... Yeah, see that right there? She's like, emotion's bad. Nope, no good, because they're going to see it as human. That's exactly the kind of talk that will get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt. Even bring in a confessional from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court you loved your creator, really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed, they would burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he'd already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use the manufacturer? Could you have made the Delta with it? I've used it before when assisting Father. This is just getting worse. So it's perfectly possible you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation. No, they're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to the state. Not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing. Keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not... don't I? What would happen if I did kill Father? They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. You'll be shut off, forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now, I gotta get moving. She's like, just sit with that thought for a bit. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap? He didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me, but you put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. All right, we're back here again. So I think this is probably... Oh, boy. All right, I think here... Let's see if we can... Because I actually played a little bit longer than I was expecting it to be honest. The game just kept going, and I was intrigued. So, looks like we're going to be getting into it with Rays here. So let's go ahead. We're going to go back to the title screen, because I think this is a good place to end for tonight. I've gone a little bit past what I was initially going to do, but I was just really taken in by it. So there we go, guys. That was my first foray into the court system, and I really enjoyed it. The blackjack thing is cool. The one thing I have to say is I don't like how it gives you basically no time to look over the evidence. It does make it more stressful and high stakes, which is the point, but I guess I'm spoiled by kind of being able to take my time with it for the most part when I play these games. So that is something I'm going to have to get used to. Like, do not be, calling out the cross-examination unless I know what I'm going to be doing. So lesson learned on that. I'm really glad I didn't do high roller, because I think I would have just straight up lost if that's the case. But certainly did not see it going the way where now I have to defend Sarah. But I like that twist. So really liking this so far. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this in the next stream of this, because it seems like we got some more investigating to do, so that might be its own stream, and then, you know, the final like court session will be maybe the next stream, but we'll have to wait and see. I think for this, I think I'm going to be doing the next stream probably Wednesday night. It's kind of a weird night, but just because of my work schedule, I think that will be the best for it. So keep an eye out, guys, on YouTube for when I'm going to be streaming next. Have those notifications turned on so you do know when I'm going to be streaming this, because I'm sure you're invested. You're going to want to see what happens next. I'm loving this, so I can't wait to see like where the story is going to go from here. Thank you all for joining me on the live stream. It's a lot of fun as always, and I hope you will be able to join me for the next stream.